Good evening, graduates, staff, families, board members, and special guests. I'd like to welcome you to our graduation ceremony and offer my congratulations to the class of 2023. It gives me great pride to introduce Jimena Carmona for the singing of our national anthem. Please stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce Angel Rivera, Senior Class President, to deliver the Class of 2023 address.
Good evening. It's truly been an honor to serve as your class president. Amongst the 224 students that are a part of the class of 2023, I've seen a multitude of different kinds of personalities. We have the students who go by cruising, the students who want to do well, so they give it their best effort, and the students who are fortunate enough for school to just come easy to them. There's been a good mix of people who are always trying to help others, and there are the ones that only work for themselves. But in the end, we ultimately did it all together. We did it as a class of CCTEC. We did it as a collective, not just as a team, but as a family. What is the it that this family got through together? As a studio kid, I see it as a crazy lit movie. Some might argue that it was COVID, or that it was going to a rigorous technical school. But I believe that it was having the chance to experience 4 years of life with each other for 7 hours a day, 5 days a week, and 180 days each school year. Just thinking about it has me a little choked up over here, not gonna lie. When we embark on our journey of life for these upcoming years, we'll soon come to realize that we should have appreciated the days more. It's amazing how time seems to pass so quickly when you're focused on the day-to-day grind of studies and extracurricular commitments. It seems like only yesterday that we were walking through the front doors of CCTEC to report for freshman orientation. So if you take anything from this speech, I want you to make sure that you never take your time for granted. No matter the situation, full send it and don't leave with any regrets. I tried my best to make my high school experience as memorable as possible, especially this last year. I joined 10 clubs and organizations. I played a leadership role in 3 of them. I was even in 2 sports. But most important of all, no matter how many things I was a part of, I can confidently say that I made an abundance of long-lasting memories that helped me grow as a person. Each and every last one with a new mix of people, different events, and a completely fresh purpose behind it, providing me with the opportunity to forge a stronger and more reliable mindset each time. Now, that doesn't mean every one of our memories makes us a different person. I like to think of it as making us more well-rounded characters. Because in all reality, we are our own main character. Walking through the hallways, working on our schoolwork, having personal lives outside of school, we all have our own story to tell. But this is the story of the class of 2023. In my opinion, this class is the main character of all tech classes. But that's just me. Did we have the smoothest high school experience? Of course not. Did both teams win Powder Puff? Maybe not. Did we win at the end of the Spirit Weeks for any of our 4 years? Shout out to the Cos Girls Pep Rally Spirit, by the way. Well, the answer would be no. Life happens. But being that I'm a huge team player and the love of my life is baseball, I've learned a lot from that sport alone. I was writing part of this speech as I watched my brothers battle it out for the first round of playoffs on our beautiful varsity field. The overall theme made me think of it as a representation of CCTEC. These boys would often call me Captain Louis, a high title in team sport, just like you guys all call me Mr. President. Whether they were joking about it or not, I took the role seriously. I took it just as seriously as I take the role of being this class's captain. I made it my job to make sure my team was in good hands, the same way I make sure my family is in good hands. You are all my family. Whenever I saw someone look a little off, I tried to pick them up, no matter how well I knew them. I'd introduce them to my favorite saying from my mother. She'd often say, "It can always be worse." She wouldn't say this to demean anyone's feelings, but just to encourage people to appreciate what they have instead of dwelling on what they don't have. Some of you may know Coach Jones, or Mr. Jones. One of his many quotes was, "We are strong alone, but unstoppable together." We can appreciate the fact that what we have is each other. We've definitely had our fair share of both wins and losses. Maybe a few more losses than wins, but who's counting? No one counted, right? Well, whether you did or didn't count, we learned from all of our experiences. The same way my baseball team learned from every victory and defeat, each one being different from the other in its own unique way. But it's through adversity that we find strength. The class of 2023 stayed strong as we scraped our way to the top to become upperclassmen and finish on a positive note. No matter what it took to get here, we got it done. Despite the setbacks we encountered as a class, we continue to persevere with grit and determination. Now, we stand ready to enter the world, fully prepared to encounter any challenges that might be thrown our way. So I want to wish you all the absolute best, because after being defeated again and again and again, nothing is over until we win. Thank you, everyone. Love you all, and God bless.
Thank you, Angel. I would now like to introduce our keynote speaker. Father, husband, farmer, food lover, restaurateur, James Beard Award winner, author, and Iron Chef. Those are just some of the many titles and accolades received by Chef Garces since opening his first restaurant in 2005. A second-generation Latin American, Garces was born to Ecuadorian parents and raised in Chicago. His culinary passion was cultivated at a young age by his paternal grandmother, who taught him the Latin way of cooking. Today, Garces is still driven by those values and continues to embrace a wide array of influences. After graduating from Kendall College's School of Culinary Arts, Garces worked in top-rated professional kitchens from Spain to New York City before moving to Philadelphia in 2001. He has since emerged as one of the nation's leading chefs, owning and operating over a dozen restaurants, a thriving event and catering division, a nonprofit organization, and a 40-acre organic farm in Bucks County, PA. Chef Garces is also the author of 2 cookbooks, The Latin Road Home and Latin Evolution. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Jose Garces.
let's do this. Good evening, graduates, teachers, parents, and guests. It's an honor to be here with you today as you celebrate this important milestone in your lives. My name is Jose Garces. I'm a chef, an entrepreneur, and I can still remember the excitement and nervousness I felt around my high school graduation all those years ago. As a first-generation American with deep familiar roots in Ecuador and Latin culture, I often felt myself straddling the line between the comforts of home and the desire to immerse myself in a fully Americanized experience. Some of you will continue your education in post-secondary, either community college or a four-year university, a trade school. Others will be moving directly into the workforce. So you're all very fortunate to have had an opportunity not provided to all high school students. The ability to learn about a trade, gain valuable career experience, even before leaving high school. Whether it's engineering, healthcare, cosmetology, or the subject nearest and dearest to my heart, culinary and hospitality, the skills you've learned over the past few years will serve you well and make your way forward into the future. Special shout out to the culinary department, culinary students, where you guys at? So, finishing high schools, I still had a lot of questions and doubts. Who did I want to become? As a person, as a professional, I felt built like a rudderless cruise ship, big, strong, but lacking a strong captain. So I'm going to jump a bit ahead to college. I started out my undergraduate career at a local community college, but I didn't have any particular interest at the time. I'd always been interested in cooking, but hadn't necessarily considered it as a career path until arriving at Kendall College. My mom and grandma were both inspirations to me in the kitchen, as they were amazing cooks. Some of my most core memories of childhood spring from spending time on my mother's hip as she prepared dinner for the family. Little did I know those hours of peeling potatoes and carrots, immersed in my family's recipes of Ecuadorian stews and empanadas, would have had such a huge impact on my life for decades to come. The flavors and history of Spanish and Latin cuisine would end up shaping not just my childhood, but also my adult life. It was a bit of serendipity that I ended up at Kendall College. This is a theme that you'll see repeated in my story. I'd been spending a summer lifeguarding at Foster Beach in Chicago. And at that time, their campus was just north of the beach. Spurred by curiosity and finding that general education classes at community college were not giving me what I needed, I took a visit to their campus. My time at community college made me realize that I needed a vocation, a trade, a craft that I could really sink my teeth into and secure and maintain employment and just get a job at the time. I didn't have the visions of becoming an Iron Chef or a leader in the field. I just wanted to get a job to make some money and survive. When I arrived at Kendall, I noticed the crisp uniforms, the tall hats, the sense of military precision that everyone walked around. It appealed to me. The brigade system was a type of structure that I needed. The level of discipline seemed like a necessary aspect for me. As someone who needed guardrails, I'd found the method. I'd found the captain to my rudderless ship that I needed. Curiosity and a bit of luck is what brought me to Kendall. I didn't know much more about the hospitality industry. I was just curious to learn more. What I discovered when I got to Kendall and got situated in the system, that there are several big discoveries that I made. There were many aspects of the industry that I was unaware of. From a career standpoint, not only working in restaurants, but also the hotel, the cruise industry, catering and events, fast casual, so many avenues to explore with my talents and desires. And the industry just goes far beyond cooking. I'd never cooked professionally. It was only a hobby to me at home. The discovery I made at school was I had a talent, a legitimate talent for taking ingredients and making them taste delicious. That didn't happen until I went to school and I got my hands into it. And I started to learn that I was outperforming my classmates. And that was the beginning of my desire to compete. My skill set would not only allow me to work for others, but also potentially work for myself and have my own business and live that part of my dream. Upon graduating college, I was eager to start my career in the culinary industry, but I also had many doubts and fears. How would I find a job? How would I compete with other chefs? How would I balance work and life? How would I achieve my goals and dreams? Would I be able to support myself? These are the questions you might be asking yourselves right now. And I'm here to tell you there are no easy answers, but there are some things that can help you along the way. Things I learned from my own experiences and from people who supported me. As I embarked in my cooking career, I found myself working in a wide range of locations and a wide range of cuisines. It wasn't until a few years into my career that I decided to focus on food I grew up eating, focus on Latin and Spanish cuisine, and become the best exemplar of that cuisine that I could be. And that leads me to my first point, which is true in the culinary world, but also applies to other fields. It's something that I've said in the past and will continue to say. Find a niche, find an area of expertise that suits you. Look at the landscape, look at the market, and find a space to create yourself where you can succeed and excel. For myself, I realized that Latin and Spanish cuisine was a niche that I could create for myself, and it was underrepresented in the existing landscape. I was lucky in that I was able to figure this out relatively early on. And I think this comes back to the curiosity I mentioned earlier. Curiosity and willingness to try new things and fall outside your comfort zone. The willingness to step outside the comfort zone and facing fears is another lesson I learned. I was terrified when I decided to open my first restaurant. It required a huge leap of faith. But by taking that chance, I was able to create something amazing. Had I not taken that chance, I would have likely regretted it. It was nerve-wracking, to say the least, but persistence, hard work, and confidence were the core values and ideas that helped me make the restaurant a success. At that point, I'd already seen professional success in executive chef positions in Philadelphia. But starting out on your own is a uniquely terrifying proposition. Part of me is glad that I was much younger when I did it, but one of my biggest fears at the time, to put it bluntly, was failure. One of the first things I learned as I struck out into the world is that you have to be prepared. You have to receive great education like the one you received here at this school. You've learned valuable skills and knowledge that will serve you well in your chosen fields. But learning doesn't stop here. You have to keep updating your skills, keep learning new things, keep adapting, keep changing to the world. And you have to be ready for any challenge or opportunity that comes your way. The resilience that you cultivate now will likely be one of the most valuable attributes. And it's been said since the memorial world is changing, and it's changing more quickly in more ways than many of us are able to prepare for. The sentiment is true now as it was when it was said to me. Advances in technology, from from telescopes that give us a new, deeper understanding of the cosmos or our place in it, or the rapid rise or adoption of AI in consumer applications, are fueling what feels like a constant cycles of hype and deflation. Changes in the way we communicate have allowed us for vast social and political changes occurring here and across the world, and currently allowed for greater surveillance. It's impossible to say what the world will look like in 5, 10, or 50 years. But you have an incredible opportunity to help shape the world in which you will spend the rest of your lives. One thing that I learned early on was the importance of serendipity, defined as the occurrence of development of events by chance in a happy or beneficial way. Serendipity is more than just dumb luck. It's about creating opportunities for good things to come together. Sometimes it's a matter of planting a seed that you return to later, or sometimes it's just the world lining up in the right way at the right time. Thank you. As an example, 4.5 years ago, for 4.5 years, I was working for the Star Restaurant Group, where I'd seen the aforementioned success as an executive chef. I knew I wanted to break out on my own. I was walking through Old City in Philadelphia, down Chestnut Street. I ran into a friend of mine and said, "Hey, there's a space available. There's a friend of mine that's selling it." Turns out, this place was in a great neighborhood. I went to the location, met the old owner, stepped into the place. I felt something special. I had a complete vision for what was possible. And I'm incredibly proud to note that Amada, my first restaurant, will be celebrating 18 years this September. Thank you. Thank you. It's not easy, guys, not easy. 18 years. But Amada has continued to be a success. In addition to the original Old City location, we also have one in Atlantic City and recently opened a third location in Radnor on the main line. Success can be measured in a myriad of ways, and success in one area in life does not always translate to success in others. We can each define success in the way that makes the most sense in our lives, and we may disagree on what makes success. But it's something we all, in our way, strive for. And rather than talk about success, I'd like to speak for a moment about failure. And it can be an ugly world, like the end of the road. But failure, especially in business, is best seen as an opportunity to learn and grow. From my standpoint, I don't like using the term failure. These are all just opportunities for learning a better way to do things. Failure is only an end if you stop trying. When setbacks occur, you look in the mirror, take some accountability, and look at a lesson and grow from them. And honestly, I've had my share of failures and opportunities that didn't go my way. It wasn't good. Didn't like it. And I didn't like the way it made me feel. In a lot of ways, deciding to keep going after failure is one of the harder things I've ever had to do in my career. And that said, many failures come from pushing past your comfort zone by trying to accomplish things that drive you. And despite those odds that are stacked against you, you continue to go. And sometimes just going forward when the chips are stacked against you can be one of the hardest things. A lighter example, which I didn't feel light at the time, I was competing on a show called The Next Iron Chef, which was my springboard for my TV career. I was deep in competition in a double elimination match, meaning that the bottom two chefs were going to go home. The battle was Battle of Indian Cuisine. I've never cooked Indian food before that battle. About halfway through the battle, I cut my finger pretty badly. While I had a stovetop full of pots and pans, the cut was near an artery and wouldn't stop bleeding. The medics had to come, patch me up, and I really thought my dream of becoming an Iron Chef was done for. I managed to keep cooking and ended up winning the battle. Thank you. Moving on to rounds in Tokyo and New York, and ultimately gained the title of Iron Chef. And that was just a moment where the chips were down. Could have packed it up. Could have said, hey, it's over. Keep going. Just keep going. In years since then, I've had a number of restaurants open. I've raised 2 children, 2 fantastic young adults. I've started a charitable organization that is focused on the immigrant community in Philadelphia, won a James Beard Award, and I've recently been appointed to the President's Council on Sports, Fitness, and Nutrition. The induction ceremony is later this month. Excited. Thank you. Well, anyway, guys, I started out lacking in well-defined goals, but ended up as a leader in my field, having received recognition for both my peers, James Beard Award, and our national government, and I'm hopeful that my story provides a view into a pathway to success that's achievable and worthwhile. Where there's a will, there's a way. And if there's anything that I'm able to leave with you in this short time we have together, is the core concepts of curiosity, persistence, expertise, and hard work that goes along with all of those tools needed to survive and thrive in an ever-changing world. Congratulations to the class of 2023. Thank you. Thank you.
Can we have another round of applause for Chef Garces? Well, speaking of thank yous, graduates, this day is all about you and your achievements. But there are a number of people that are joining you here tonight to celebrate your accomplishments, but also that surrounded you the entire time you were in high school. So that first grouping of people, I need graduates, your help. So if you could please stand up and face your families. Give them a round of applause. Families, thank you for supporting these students in all of their endeavors, successes, failures, and everything in between. Graduates, you should be grateful for all of them. You may be seated, graduates. Now, the next grouping of people that have surrounded you are the teachers, support staff, and student services. So will all of those individuals please stand up? Graduates, from your programs to your academics, these individuals have made sure that you are here this evening. Now, all of us couldn't do it without the next number of individuals who I taxed to the limits today with a pop-up thunderstorm. So to our facilities staff, technology staff, and security staff, please, a large round of applause to all of them. There are 3 boards that we owe not only this facility, but everything within it, too. So would the Cumberland County Commissioners, under the direction of Douglas Albrecht, the Cumberland County Board of Vocational Education, and the Cumberland County Foundation Board, please stand up to be recognized. Before I certify all of you, I have a wish. I have found that by surrounding yourself with extraordinary, you in fact grow exponentially, just from having some time with extraordinary people. So my wish for you, as you start your next adventure, find the quiet listener with strength like Mr. Briggs. Find the lighthearted and witty like Mr. Biaselli. Find the strong and the fair like Mrs. Hoffman. Find the caring and the intuitive like Dr. Nolan. Find a person with the can-do, joyful spirit like Mrs. DeBello. Find the innovative with a side of fun. Yes, fun is important, just like Dr. Skinner. Find the focused and the kind, like Mrs. Duffield. And I hope that you find those surrounding you with courage, conviction, strength, and leadership, like Mr. McGraw. For if you find these extraordinary individuals along your journey, I know, without a doubt, that you will have joy and success beyond measure. So now, it is my privilege and honor. Mrs. Hands, can you join me up at the podium? Mrs. Hands, I certify that each member of the class of 2023 has met all the requirements to graduate as prescribed by the laws of the state of New Jersey and the New Jersey Department of Education. Class of 2023, congratulations. And now a gentleman who needs no introduction. Mr. Riggins, floor is yours.
I would like to offer my congratulations to the class of 2023. I would like to invite our automotive technology instructors, Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Platt, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the automotive technology program. Faye Alvarado. Jaslyn Carmona. Connor Costanzo. Joshua Ford. Diego Garcia. Eric Gonzalez. Joseph Griffith. Carly Corman. Cassandra Luna Castillo. Luis Pichardo. Stephanie Ramos Medina. Angel Rivera. Ramir Scott. Joseph Sierri. Edward Sykes. I would like to invite our construction trades instructors, Mr. Behrens and Mr. McDonnell, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the construction trades program. Jacob Casaboon. Dennis Demery. Anthony Espana. Kara Fulbrick. Alan Garlington. Isaac Garrison. Angeles Godos. Scott Keller. David Aquendo. Alexis Perez. Danny Perez. Roman Perez. Jacqueline Perez Alvarado. Anthony Rackets. William Rodriguez. Cody Smith. Johnny Soto. Jael Suarez. I would like to invite our cosmetology instructor, Mrs. Ocasio, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the cosmetology program. Allison Barber. Evelina Beteta Ruiz. Olivia Byer. Leah Calderon. Brianna Crooks. Yarivia Cuevas Tellez. Jenna DeTeta. Zariah Holmes. Emily Marina Castro. Noor Musfi. Gillette Morales. Virginia Perez Santiago. Yarispel Quevedo Jose. Sky Rivera. Yuri Rodriguez. Deanna Shinava. Elena Spencer. Neve Temple. I would like to invite our culinary arts and hospitality instructors, Mr. Aliberti and Mr. Olson, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the culinary arts and hospitality program. Jake Boggs. Aubrey Charlesworth. Alondra Cortazar Sanchez. Jadalyn Francisco. Gabriella Hartman. Madison Morello. Dev Patel. Mallory Pisano. Zaria Riley. Ziamara Rivera. Lauren Thompson. Giovanni Veliz. Kenneth Waters. Gracie Webb. Juana West. Michelle Zuniga. I would like to invite CCTEC Foundation board member, Mr. Carlos Mercado, to the stage, along with our engineering technology instructors, Mrs. Shaw and Mr. Ziller, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the engineering technology program. Nathaniel Adams. Carlo Alimenti. Natalie Bateman Parkhill. Edwin Calixto. Robert Callahan. Daniel Cruz. Diego Cruz. Hunter Cruzon. Jeffrey Colas. Kenya Fuentes. Devin Gonzalez. Eddie Hernandez. Giovanni Hernandez. Alexis Hyder. Vincent Hitchner. Michael Huang. Lucas Jimenez. Francesca Knight. Sean Lindholm. Christina Marrero. Brian Martinez Rodriguez. Frank Mazza. Sean McCarthy. Ethan McIntosh. Matthew Meiswinkle. Sebastian Mercado. Soraya Marino. Joseph Nonemacher. David Pashusnik. James Pyatt. Alex Borquin. Natalie Rep. Ethan Rio. Jessica Simpkins. Lucas Sirocco. Colin Titus. Sarah Trout. Amir Troy. Addison Verganov. I would like to invite our health sciences and medicine instructors, Mrs. Birdsall, Mrs. Simonini, and Ms. Vaccari, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the health sciences and medicine program. Connor Allen. Katie Almanza Gonzalez. Sarah Bagnati. Stanislav Borodovka. Lila Boutros. Noelia Bravo Velasquez. Jimena Carmona. Ashley Cushing. Jenna D'Agostino. Gwendolyn DeKnight. Elijah Delgado. Amaya Flores. Natalie Gutierrez Ortiz. Christina Jimenez. Jessica Juarez Perez. Destiny Knight. Madison Kristovich. Ava Lavari. Annika Malati. Lila Mancebo. Marissa Manel. Angelina Marsh. Madeline Missouri. Genevieve Morgan. Juliana Nanny. Asher Perez. Gabrielle Ralph. Shreya Ratish. Milani Rodriguez. Debrianna Russell. Sienna Serrano. Carolina Sharp. Christopher Stewart. Talia Stewart. Julia Thompson. Emiliano Torres. I would like to invite CCTEC Foundation Board Vice President, Mr. Charles Wetstein, to the stage along with our information technology instructor, Mr. Morales, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the information technology program. Salim Aiden. Kaylee Barrigan. Duru Barinci. Melino Chiro. Jacob DeMarco. Allison Dionisi. Brandon Duckart. Antonio Garcia Ramirez. Ryan Gailey. Sean Henry. Bryson Hernandez. Lucian Lees. Christopher Miranda. Diana Perez. Eric Perez. Brandon Sabio. Luciano Sanchez. Mikeldy Santos. Joseph Schmidt. Emily Walters. Kenneth Wetstein. I would like to invite Cumberland County Commissioner Director, Mr. Douglas Albrecht, to the stage, along with our law enforcement instructor, Mr. Carignato, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the law enforcement program. Samuel Albrecht. Brooklyn Almodovar. Fernando Cabrera Perez. Gennaro Costa. Jocelyn Cruz. Ava Felice. Alexis Johnson. Juliana Jones. Lizeth Moyel Jimenez. Naomi Liam Ortiz Mejias. Nina Pantaleon. Jada Quiles. Ryan Quinn. Jake Ragukis. Dakota Runkle. Andrea Rusnak. Ella Schreiner. Caden Sloan. Samantha Smith. Haley Turner. Zuhaidi Zunin. I would like to invite our studio production and broadcasting instructor, Mr. Nieder, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the studio production and broadcasting program. Giovanna Amato. Dylan Ayers. Abigail Brown. Sarah Cassis. Cameron Cafiso. Kaylin Conup. India Cicero. Sky Cook. Cypress Struding. Lena Luciano. Joshua Lugo. Faith Meringue. Jackson Millard. Rebecca Panchasine. Jessica Perez. Jetsi Regina Reyes. Angel Rivera. Araceli Soto. Christian Staniak. Luke Sirkin. Parker Swift. Carla Urena Rosa. Chuck Wilmore. I would like to invite our welding technology instructors, Mr. Bonner and Mr. Jones, to help with the awarding of diplomas to students enrolled in the welding program. Michael Bunting. Isabella Cruz. Elric Figueroa Montero. Alexia Freeman. Lucas Garton. Kimberly Harvey. Tyler Henson. Antonio Jones. Isnaida Joseph. Diego Lopez. Roman Mallet. Sean Ronan. Cameron Silvers. Dominic Speranza. Jaden Wilford. I would like to invite our Strive instructors, Mrs. Bowser, Mrs. Cascabas, Mrs. Kessler, and Mr. Lawless, to help with the awarding of diploma to our student enrolled in the Strive program. Christian Sanchez.
Fellow graduates, please stand. As a symbolic gesture of your completion of high school, you may now turn your tassels. This concludes our ceremony. Thank you all for coming this evening. Congratulations, class of 2023. We did it!